Hotaki, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Awesome 10X channel. And today, the PSEI fell 70 points in congruence to the US market last night, falling about 2%. Let's discuss what happened in the Philippines and what stocks are there that are good for your risk-reward ratios. So let's see, just a heads up, statistics first. Let's go first to your heads up. Wait up. So you could see that the market followed the US pressure. For about a week already, US cases in Brazil and in China and in US have been spiking for COVID. So we're actually wondering why the US maintains its lofty levels and it was a bit ripe for a correction. So that drop of US of about 2% is nothing to be like afraid of. It's really part of any strong moves to actually have a healthy correction and consolidate. Now, this isn't going to be me talking about US, although tune in for our global market updates, where I discuss companies like charts on some US names. It's actually a mixture. You've got strength and you've got some names going up and some names going down. Now, in the Philippines, it's also the same. You've got some names going up, some names going down, but a lot of the names are actually going down. Today, you've got 3,777 trades for IDC 227, 8% up. That's your top gainers for the day, with a lot of your positions actually just less than 2% gains. For your most active, you could see that most active names are on the downside. So Mary Mart is down 1%, 348. SM Prime is about 31 peso, 31.20, almost unchanged. You could see that your most active list has more reds than greens. With very few greens, like Ayala Land is 34.1, almost unchanged. Meralco almost unchanged at 270. Bloomberry 760, ICT 101. But predominant picture in this chart, as you can see in the picture, is a red name. Red name, Mary Mart 348, Dito Telecom 344. So both of them actually had been sold down at about 380 to 390s, and consequently, both of them have been falling as well. You see banks actually falling down. You've got Metrobank 36.85 from 38. You've got your BDO falling down 3 pesos to about 97. You've got some names like properties like Mega World now back to $3 after rallying for as much as 340 something last couple of days. So right now, the question is, with your PSEI back to about 6.1, are we near ratio of our risk reward? So let's go to the charts one by one, because actually I would argue that we are actually nearing a good risk reward ratio, even when it is a red day. Go to your index. Of course, your market value is 6.5 billion. You continually have foreign selling. Yesterday, we have about 2 billion foreign selling. Today, we have about 660 million foreign selling. A lot of your news in the macro headlines is very bad. Like in the Philippines, we actually saw $6 billion potential remittances loss. But when you look at the dollar peso chart, we're still actually trading at about 50 pesos level. So wait, let me show to you. So you actually have a mixed bag. You've got cheap money globally chasing where yield is. And so far, Philippine peso corporate bonds are getting a lot of attractive rates. I think Jollibee, ICT had about 3.5 to 4.5% yields that will enable them, as well as PLDT, that will enable them to actually become stronger in the next 6 months. We actually argue that PLDT also got $600 million overnight, and that is actually good for your peso. So you could see that the dollar peso is actually one of the strongest in Asian currencies, Southeast Asian currencies. That is a bullish sign for your Philippine corporates, such that even if PLDT today is down, actually I would argue that it could be bought. Now, take a look, of course, PLDT is twofold. It's trading both in Philippines and US. This is PLDT. We actually broke above 20, went as high as 26. Any drops of PLDT back to about 23 to 22 is actually a good thing. Now, if you look at the valuation of PLDT, it's also not sky high. So we are able to see that there are actually opportunities to be bought in the sell-off today. So just because it's a 1-1, so you've got PLDT opening with a low of 1160. From 1203 to 1160, it closed 1% down, 2% down to 1190. I would view these drops of PLDT actually more like an opportunistic entry point. So today, those who got in at about 1180 or any price below 112, I'm seeing that this is a support here, and this retest is actually a good thing to add. So these are buys for me. You've got a lot of support at 1120. You have a dividend slated this August, so that will be about 2 months coming from now, 2 to 3 months. So I see this actually as a strong play for those people who want safe entry. This is something that's good to enter. Now, a lot of people have been asking, okay, what's going to happen with these names? Because Pure Gold today fell below about 44. That is a breakdown of your April. So today's about June. So 4, 5, 6, almost like 3 months low. Right now, it's not really such a big problem. You see that people have been recently, there was the strong Mary Mark. So it's actually natural for people to come into speculative. You've seen names like PXP go 50% up. Take note what happened in the last 3 days. This is what's happening in the market. You see PXP rallying 50%. You've got, like today, you've got the IDC rallying again. You've got Apex rallying the last few days. Then you've got Merrimart, Dito actually rallied in the last few days since IPO, then fell. So so far, you could see that the market is very much trading volatile names. And low volatility names such as Pure Gold, Telephone, and Globe will definitely not get the love if the market is too much into the risk mentality, risk mode. Now, in a risk mode, people would usually dump these names. For me, it's actually a good thing because if they dump it, these are actually good names for us to buy. I would say that the fact that this is a strong move since this vertical move was shot up because of the, of course, during that time, only Pure Gold was open. Now, in the last few months, we've seen, of course, the reopening. And so people are starting to go out of their homes. And what happened really is that there was less need for people to be buying essential goods. And they were more able to buy, basically they had all their essentials, no? And right now, you have a lot of companies that are way, way down that never recovered. So some people just want really something that they can make fast money on. Given that Pure Gold is not a fast money play, you've seen that some people got tired waiting, that they sold it down. So far, you've got support here at about 41 for Pure Gold. That would be your prior support, prior resistance here that will act as your support. In the last 10 years of Pure Gold, since IPO, you could see that this got listed in 2012, went as low as about, of course, that IPO time, it was actually even down from its IPO. So there are names that actually are, should it fall, you shouldn't be actually so worried. So this is a strong, as you could see, Pure Gold went strong high, very strong from about 12 to as high as 48. And after times 4 in the last first 3 years, it then did nothing. In the last 6, 7 years, I was arguing that Pure Gold never broke above this 48, even this year. Actually, it never broke 48. It fell after trying to reach 50, it fell down again. Nevertheless, there are actually good things to follow into this name. The fact that it actually is, this is actually a consolidation. This is a healthy consolidation. Any drops of Pure Gold back to your 41 should actually be seen more as a support to buy. Now, the question is, will it actually go down 41 back to 38? That is something that we do not know. If the market will continually go down, that is possible. So this sell-off today, it can have 2 scenarios. Any rallies back to 45 to 46, you would see people trimming down because they can see that, oh, it's going to be so tagal. Tagal, ang slow, ang tagal. That's fine. Usually, that tagal moment can take a long while. Like your next earnings point is probably next 3 months after hitting June. So you've got about September. You've got people that will only speculate on Pure Gold again after maybe 3 months. So some people would sell only to buy it back next few days. Nevertheless, you don't see the change in fundamentals here. So as long as this, Whenever you've got this strong trend, this is just seen as a bullish signal to actually just consolidate. Now, we've seen a lot of strong names like Globe actually fell. So PLDT fell, Globe also fell. It's right now going down 3 months low, no? You could see that Globe is also the same pattern after a strong run up. It's now falling down. And you could see that it's actually the same. Globe has had a hard time. This 2-3 is like almost a 7-year resistance. So when you look at it, it's actually almost the same, no? In the last 5 years, 2015 till 2020, 2014, it never really went above 2-3. So is 2-3 your resistance? It could, like, because that's your 5-year resistance. 2-3 has never been broken. However, with names such as these, we argue that a premium will be paid because these telecoms are predictable cash flows. In a COVID environment, you want to pay a premium, like a stability premium, in an uncertain world. What do we mean with uncertain world? Well, you have restaurants reporting losses, unlike telecoms, which are reporting profits. So do you want a profit? Well, if you want dividends and profits, there will definitely be buyers for Globe if it actually falls. Now, some names that you have to look at, I'd say that Meralco right now is one of the names that are actually attractively being given. Take a look at your day or your days. So you've seen, of course, the first move of Meralco was very strong. This strong run-up had a consolidation, then another strong run-up. Any drops here back to about 250 to 60 should be actually seen more as a buying opportunity. Now, we actually saw that the Philippines went up too fast, too soon. Let's see. Your PSEI actually is, of course, your SM and your AC. With your SM and AC having a resistance at about 800 and 1,000, you actually see that the PSEI has been falling down. But this is your support. Will we go back to 5.6 or will we go back here to about 5.8, 5.7, 5.9? That is a question mark, but we could answer that based on checking your index counterparts. So let's start it one by one. PSEI, your biggest would of course be SM. You could see that SM is comfortably above 840, which gives the bulls actually the upper hand. When it's above 840, it means that you have to be more bullish on PSEI because SM is your leader. Now, if you're gonna get your SMs, you want to get in as low as possible, but it doesn't mean that SM will give it back to you at about 840. But if you want the index to collapse to about 5.7, you got to really give SM down to 870, 880, which is actually a good buying opportunity. Now, let's take a look at some names. Your SM Prime was actually a laggard. In the index Big Five, these first 5 movers of Philippine index is actually very weak. SM Prime, your malls have of course waived the rentals, and so these have been really badly hit when the COVID ECQ started. GCQ, we're starting to see that maybe stores are reopening. Restaurants are allowed dine-in right now for at least until 10 p.m. I think they moved the 8 p.m. curfew to 10 p.m., which will actually allow some people to, okay, if I went to the mall, then I can start buying some for takeout or even dine in. 30% of diners can dine in, since a lot of restaurants have proven that, hey, we actually follow the safety precaution measures, the protocols, etc., etc. Now, of course, East West had, let's talk a few things about the banks. Last few days, we've actually seen East West deny the rumor. So you could see that this increase from about 750 to 850 was just negated when the company negated the sale. Nevertheless, East West right now, you might check it out. Why? Because FDC, the parent company of East West, has reported that they might plan to do 2 things. They might raise money, whether in bonds or in equity. If they raise money in equity, it's possible that FDC would go higher. I'm not sure if what price they want to look at it, but FDC contains, of course, East West and your Philinvest land. So I would say that any drops of East West back to $7, now it's 7.38. This could actually be seen more like a buying opportunity. 7 is might be a support. It could, of course, go down back to about 6 pesos if the market will really tank. But I'd say that the higher low could be something that first tranche enter now while you have an entry, while it's giving you an entry back to 7. Because with or without an acquisition, East West is now trading with about profits. They contribute about 1/3 or one third to as big as 30 to 40%. I'll check. But issuance is a major contributor to the earnings of your FDC. So if FDC will have a roadshow in the next 6 months, whether it be bonds or equity, you will have some limelight given to some of the subsidiaries. In which case, East West is subsidiary that will be taken a valuation of to make a successful share sale for your FDC. That will also be true for your PhilInvest. These names, as I said, are included inside your FDC as long as the news will really make true that the catalyst of FDC will happen. These names, which are undervalued, could be unlocked. FDC plans to sell equity shares or bond offering because you have about only 10% float of FDC. That's why this isn't being traded, no value traded. If you're not being value traded, there really is a very difficult price discovery because it's not going to trade on fundamentals if only 10% of the float is in the public's hands. And so it's really important that FDC, if they want to have a successful share sale, they should actually sell shares to the market, like a secondary IPO. It's like a secondary offering. If they do that, that's actually good. A follow-on offering will actually benefit FDC. I think that's what PHR wanted, right? I think they wanted to do a share sale. So the share sale allowed it to go up. So far, from 160, it rallied to about 340. I don't know if there will be volume traded in PHR, but there might be some people who would take a look at this name if it's going to bottom out somewhere at about 2 below. Just as what other people might speculate, SunTrust, if Resorts World, Bayshore will continually want to convert because they already gave 5.7 billion pesos. The Sun City already gave to the Andrew Tan Group for SunTrust Home Developers to become a resort, a casino. So if they will raise money somehow in the next few years, then you could see that maybe these supports will be respected. So you've got support at 1 peso. Any drops might be actually a good buy. If it falls somewhere here at 114. There was a lot of people who got sold down in the first initial move. So we don't know how long this consolidation will take. It could take another 3 months. But I would say that drops here at about 114 to 107 could be considered taken a look. Apex surprised the market with actually a positive earnings report. So because of that, I would say that this will have higher lows in the next few months. Same as for Home. We are seeing that Home is one of those spectacular earnings in the COVID time. So these things will have a support. Any drops of Home back to about 7 below, you might see a return of those 8 to 9 moves. So just because these days, these are red days, doesn't mean that you have to not look at these names. They're actually potential higher lows. Now, take note, of course, Cebu Pacific, we're cutting jobs. So some people might say that, okay, Macro Asia is a sector in the airlines and the US is falling, so I might as well take profit. That is correct. They might be taking profit, but I would say that any drops of Macro Asia back to about 6 below might have a higher low possibility here. So usually these things, these can fall bigger. It can go as low as 5 pesos. But any drops here are considered risk-reward ratios for the bulls. The lower it goes, the better. Financials have been late into the party. You could see that BDO, you've got March till about June, July. It never really rallied from about lows of 74 to 97, reached a high of about 115. People are assuming, okay, this is our double tops. But how are your double bottoms going to be? This is a higher low at 85. So from 75, then 85. Will it bottom out at 95 or 90? Or, it can go down. But I'd say that the risk reward is still on your bulls. You've got some people buying here 97 to 102. Should this 97 break down, don't worry, as you've got another support back here at about 87 area to 88. Now, I doubt that actually would fall as low as 88. Why is it that I'm not, why do I doubt that it will fall? Because the banks in general have already clarified, you've got the BSP, Benjamin Jokno, helping the financials to actually amortize any non-provision loans. So you've actually got the fundamentals telling you that, hey, we got this. Even if the financials will report a lot of losses, we will allow them to still lend liquidity because this is similar to the Asian financial crisis times, wherein the net profits and loan provision losses of BDO and the banks in general would balloon. Their NPLs would go from 1% to 2% to 4% to 8%. Because you've got credit card defaults, you've got a lot of consumers having a hard time, they would allow BDO to still lend money, allow these people to recover their jobs. Basically, I think they have about 3 to 5 years to recognize those losses. So let's say BDO would have next 3 to 4 quarters of losses. They would actually amortize that to cushion the drop of these financials. So is the financial losses something that is known? People know that this sector is bad. The fact that it's lowest in terms of rally tells you that the market acknowledges it. But how bad is bad? It is a question mark. We will never know how bad the consumer loans are. But if the market worldwide is okay, I'll tell you why the market is bullish. There is a dexamethasone. The dexamethasone is a $10 cheap drug with a 90% recovery rate. You look at the COVID updates. COVID updates wise, US has spike on cases, but US has already gone V-shaped rallies. What I'm saying is that your emerging markets as a sector is not actually V-shaped yet, okay? Your emerging market is not like your NASDAQ, which is already at all-time highs. Wait. There's, okay, anyway, you could see that your NASDAQ is at 210,000. So whether it corrects down to about 9,000, that's actually just normal. So for people who are already asking, well, I'm not trading the USA, I'm trading the Philippines. It's true that the Philippines is actually weaker than USA, which is why you want to actually trade the leaders only in PSEI, given that the PSEI is actually a very weak market worldwide. But that doesn't mean that everything is weak. I would say that on your top 5, no matter if Ayala Land had their net income, I think their net income was down 40% when they reported their earnings, it actually managed to stay above 29. So this tells you that properties-wise, people believe that Ayala Land could borrow money. In fact, Ayala Land said that they will borrow 19 billion pesos bonds, and then there will be REIT offerings. So these types of things can actually make people confident that if Ayala Land can borrow money so cheaply, then those properties after 2 to 3 years will recover. And so this company is worth buying habang nandyan pa siya sa 29 areas. That's the same when Jollibee will drop. Let's say Jollibee drops next week to 130. You want to actually be on the support hunt already, 130 to 120. Pila na yan. Buy here. Because even if it goes down to 110, you already know that the company is willing to buy, the company is willing to be bought by your foreigners. The fact that they were so confident in the bonds means that Jollibee is a name that they are willing to bet their money on, even from a bond perspective. So you've got actually bullishness on the bond side because the Philippine corporate bonds are very bullish. They were bullish in ICT, and ICT, if you think about it, this is a world global trade. The fact that ICT is trading above these levels, above 93, this tells you that ICT is a strong index name that you have to take a look at. Now, did people actually shy away from your airlines? The fact that JG Summit, which owns your Cebu Pacific, is trading above 57 tells you that the market is not too bearish on it. Actually, Cebu Pacific right now at about 39 has a good risk-reward ratio. If this one falls back down to your bottom here at 35, you actually want to enter as low as you can because airlines worldwide are actually being bailed out. So you've got a perfect example, just to tell you, Amazon owns about 26 Amazon Prime Air. So logistics-wise, there are people, even in Virgin Australia, just as Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Airlines, has a problem, you've got a lot of people in the distressed capital world willing to have special purpose vehicles to buy some of these airlines if he wants to throw them out. Even in the US, I saw like the bankrupt company Hertz. Right now, there is a knight in shining armor, Carvana, which actually does online. They do the buy and sell. Like they're more like an eBay for like used cars. So the fact that Hertz has a lot of cars that Hertz wants to assess. Hertz Carvana and AutoNation is now trying to bid for those cars because those cars is worth $3 billion and the market cap right now is about $240 million. So actually, Hertz was up 20% yesterday. What I'm saying is that when you're looking for opportunities, there are names that are actually doing quite there are specific news, no? I'll explain to you some charts. So you've got like these names like Workhorse going 100% up this week. You've got some vaccine drugs in US going up 100% in this week. The fact that these vaccine drugs are moving like that, and you've got like some genetic editing moves that helped on your cancer breakthroughs, it tells me that the world is not as bearish as what the Nasdaq will tell you. This is your QQQ. That drop is nothing because if you look at Nasdaq, this trend line is like 50% from the lows. So what I'm saying is that the upper trend lines are intact. You want to actually be more bullish rather than bearish. Drops are to be bought. It's the same line of the people buy the fucking dip, BTFD. But you have to know what you're buying. You can't just buy anything. Take a look on the risk-reward ratios first before you buy anything. Now, the question maybe for some people is, okay, so Security Bank here at about 100. Yeah, you've got financials actually in the Philippines, index names not moving as well as the... Actually, it's not moving as well because there is a worldwide phenomenon that financials are really weak. So financials as a sector is weak, whether you're buying BDO or you're buying Goldman Sachs. It's not as if like Goldman Sachs is a strong house, right? You've got these names also weakening. But as you could see, these are higher lows. Goldman Sachs actually managed to do higher lows. So in my view, if the sector of financials is being bought worldwide, I do believe that you would see actually higher lows on your BDO despite those non-provision loans. So I'm actually more bullish than bearish. I'd say that PSEI here at your 6,000 level, you want to actually start nibbling 6,000. This prior high is gonna be your prior resistance here at about 6,000. 5.9 is now going to be your support. Any drops would actually be considered buys. Now, restaurants also dining options have now expanded from takeout to dining in to at least 30%. Now, we've seen that happen in Hong Kong. First 30%, then 50%. So, usually, those reopening efforts would actually help these restaurants. Of course, pizza is better because this is really a takeout business. Shakey's Pizza here, any drops would actually be bought. So 550 could be retested, but do not be scared. No, in fact, in your restaurant segment, Shakey's Pizza managed to make money while Jollibee and Max's reversed to a loss. Shakey's Pizza actually made money. That doesn't mean that you shy away from Jollibee or Max's. It just tells you that Shakey's Pizza is actually a more takeout friendly business. Therefore, in a COVID time, this has more this can attract more market share rather than your hamburger business. So that is actually a bullish sign that if this actually manages to go down here to 560, you actually want to pila na, line up na kayo. That is a good buying support. So far, you've got resistance here, but I think that those resistances can be taken out in the future because the bullishness of these restaurants is not to be discounted. They've fallen already, 50% already, from about 9 to as low as 450. So we're actually seeing this as a bottoming out play. So drops of Shakey's Pizza should be considered buys. Yeah, so I mean, right now we have a lot of people maybe thinking, well, see, kasi ganito lang yan eh. If you look at the airlines, it's actually in a higher low eh. So I would actually view these drops as actually an entry point eh. So it's not really a bleak thing. You learn how to buy when people don't want to buy, diba? Buy when others are fearful, sell when others are greedy. Now that it's going down, you don't want to tanggal those bids. You don't take it off. You put that bid, and then hopefully it gets done tonight or tomorrow or next week. What does that mean? If SM Prime goes down here at about 30 or 29, don't be scared. Now, URC is a consumer staple. If it goes down here at 120, don't be scared. Lalo na if you were able to sell at 140 to 150. Buy it back here na at 120 to 126. If you bought today, okay naman. If it goes down tomorrow, buy again. So we want to buy these consumer staples because these are actually the goods that are actually gonna be, I really believe that there will be stability premium paid to the likes of URC, Pure Gold, PLDT, Globe, and similarly, RRHI. The only reason why we're not promoting Mrs. G is because it hasn't been giving us a great earnings report. But you know, example, this one, Robinson's Retail, good earnings naman. If it actually falls tomorrow at 58, you want to buy this name. The lower it is, the better. Don't be scared. Put that bid. So yun, if Pure Gold falls to your about 41, assuming it does, I don't know if it's gonna fall. But if it does, this shouldn't be a worrisome thing because these are the names that I believe that would have a stability premium. The market will actually pay for that. And the premium is warranted because of course, these are companies that are churning profits, predictable profits, even when the entire world is in chaos. So there is a stability premium in a safe haven world, just as what's happening in your technology names. That's why Nasdaq is at all-time highs, and that's why any drops of your Facebooks, Microsofts, or your video game names should actually be seen more as a buying on dips. We'll discuss global names that I like later on. So tune in for our market updates. Thank you for listening to Awesome 10X. If you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. It's every day, Philippine market updates and global market updates. Thank you. Bye-bye.